Uh, Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the DMI show. So we are starting right away, and we're waiting for our guests, Felix Akinibi. So I think that our guest is here. Let's go. Right. Good evening, Felix. How are you doing today?
Yeah, hi, Abib.
How are
Good
you doing,
evening.
Felix?
Yeah,
Good
I'm
evening.
fine. It's nice to be here this evening. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Yeah. So, hi everyone, and welcome to today DMI show. So here is Felix, and I will be your host for today. My name is Abib, um, from DMI Digital Marketing Agency, who are the one who happen to be the agency that is sponsoring this show. And DMI show is a show for marketers, professionals, and small business owners who want to harness the power of increase their business, to grow their business, and also to increase their return on investments. So here with me today is Felix. Felix, welcome to the show. Could you introduce yourself to our
Okay.
audience?
Hi, Abib. Hi, Abib. Good evening. Good evening, everyone that is hearing me and seeing me. My name is Felix Akinibi, and I'm an SEO specialist for more than 5 years now. I entered through the digital marketing field, basically. So, yeah, did that for a while before narrowing into SEO because that felt like you know, where I really liked to be in basically. Yeah. So I've been doing that for a while now. And of course I've worked with different businesses, from education to finance to fashion to lifestyle. Basically bringing them the traffic they deserve, basically. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Nice. So you have 5 years of 5 plus experience in SEO.
Yes.
All right, amazing. These are the hot people that we want to bring for our people for us to give us a lot of value. I can see you work with Carl Wise as well. Is that true?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Great.
Right now.
Great. So today we'll be diving it right into um you know our session for today is user experience and SEO.
Okay.
So
Can I share my
um
screen, or
what do you say,
do
Felix?
I share my screen? Like, can I share my screen? Can you hear me?
Yes, I will give you a space to share your screen. Don't worry.
Okay. Okay.
Don't
Okay,
worry.
good.
Yes, I'll give you a space to do that. So today we'll be looking at user experience and SEO, the interplay of design, speed, and navigation. So in the world of SEO, we all know that content is the king. No matter what, no matter what you are doing regarding SEO, content is still the king. if I'm right,
Right.
Felix. So,
I
but there are
mean,
also
yeah.
there are other variables to it. There are other variables to SEO. So among them is actually um UX, the UX of the website itself. Yes, it actually means a lot in SEO. So as well as yeah, when you are talking about UX, we are talking about the design, the website design. I mean, the overall design, the navigation, and all of that. So, and if we could go back into the documentation of Google Search Central, we will be able to infer that experience is now one of the core factors, that determines ranking for any website whatsoever, on Google. And that's why we are transforming now from heat to EHAT, right? So which is experience, expertise, authority,
authoritativeness, yeah, and
and
trust.
trustworthiness. Right. So that means that as we are having AI advancing, so the same way Google are, configuring their algorithm to actually be more human, you know, the more we are having enough of, the developments, the emergence of AI, so Google is configuring for its algorithm so that it will be more human than just a bot. So,
Yeah.
and that is where we are actually looking at this today with, a senior colleague in the industry for Felix. So, Felix, you actually asked for something. Let me quickly share that with you. Let me share that with
Okay.
you. Yes, so that people can join us on this quickly, so that you can share with your audience, so that they can also benefit from this session. So for anyone that wants to join, this is the link. This is the link. I've sent it to your. You can
Okay.
either join us. Yeah, this is the YouTube for YouTube, and we have for LinkedIn. It's just our page, so anybody can join us from there. And did you get that? Did you get
Yes. Yes.
right?
I got.
Right. Great. So this is it for LinkedIn. Let me
All
know
right.
when you are done so that we can move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's move forward.
Right. So, as I have rightly said, um, so and that is where we're actually looking at this topic today. To take it from start, which is the basically experience and SEO. So that's why we are looking at user experience and SEO, the interplay of design and navigation. So to set the stage right, Felix, I want to speak up to our audience. So what's the relationship between US and SEO, and how is it? I mean, how is it beneficial to search?
Okay. So the meaning of UX itself, right? It's how users interact with your website. Basically, you get your traffic, the people coming to your site, how they click a button, how they move from year to year, like the things they do on your website. Then the things that accompany that, you get the thoughts they have, the feelings they have while going to your site. That's the experience. So that's basically what UX means, user experience. That's the experience of the users that use, whether your website, it could be your website or your app, or maybe one product or the other. That's basically what UX is in that sense. Is how they use it. Yeah. Then when we're talking about how it relates to SEO, right? The primary reason of SEO, right, is to bring traffic to your site. Basically, that's like the most important fundamental thing. Basically, bring organic traffic to the site, then that traffic can now convert or do another thing you want them to do. But if that traffic comes to your site, say you did all the good SEO you could do, you did all the optimization, you did the content, as you said, content is king. You put a lot of good content, high quality content, you built backlinks, your SEO is really great, you are ranking for the keywords you want. But you now go to your site and it's just really hard for the visitor to find what they want. You get right? Like
Mm,
they visited your site, they are there already, but they can't have what they want easily. You get, let's put that in quote, they can't access what they want easily, then that's where your user experience is faulty. Because though you're pulling traffic with SEO, but you're also pushing them back before, because you have bad UX. So that's why there's no way you can really do great SEO if the experience when they land on your site is not optimal or not good. Yeah. So that's basically in a nutshell is how your SEO impacts UX, how UX impacts your SEO.
So, could you speak to, how positive UX could impact search? I mean, what is aim for businesses or for marketers to try to optimize their client websites or partner websites, or partner, I mean, if you're a small business owner and you actually manage your website by yourself, you know,
Yeah.
how could
Yeah.
that, the overall US of the website, how could it, I mean, impact the search on Google?
Okay, so positive UX can actually increase your conversion, basically can increase your conversion rate. So part of the things that determines UX, right, is how your pages load. You get how fast your pages, so that's page speed or your page loading speed, how they load. And that speed alone itself, it has like a huge importance in your conversion rate. So for example, say you run an e-commerce store, for instance, and people come to your site, say they are searching for an attire to buy, or maybe say a shoe or whatever, and they're trying to load your pages, but the pages just keep rotating and rotating, doesn't give them what they want. Or maybe the pages rotate, but it takes like more seconds for the images to start downloading one by one. That itself is not a good experience for the user. Say the person just wants to get something as fast as possible, or just check prices, just because they have to wait for like 15 more seconds, 20 more seconds, even more for your pages to load. That's what might make them say, oh, see, let me just go back to search engine results pages and just find another website that is faster. That itself, you've lost that customer. Because not everyone is that patient. You get, I mean, this is a fast, so people who access internet through their mobile phones, they are fast at stuff like that. So if they're trying to load something and it's not fast, they could even just go to a social media platform, maybe on Instagram, find what they want, because you are too slow for them, basically. So that itself might impact your conversion rate. I think that's key for business owners, right? You're having a business to get more sales, get more conversion. But if your website, for example, has slow speed, I mean, plus what I first mentioned earlier, if you're kind of confused on where one thing is on your site or the other, that can also make them leave your site.
Right. And I think the backbone of, the whole SEO and everything is actually, the end goal is actually to generate, revenue for,
Yeah.
whatsoever business you are doing it for, or for, if even in the case whereby you are doing it for your own personal business. So, and if you're actually doing it for clients, you want them to generate more conversion. So I think
Right. Right.
that singular, you know, um, option. I mean, that singular, result that you've talked about, which is conversion. I think that's the key of it. So, Felix, I'm wondering, are there some design elements or principles, that could, one could factor in to ensure that, you know, our websites actually rank, on Google, that could actually benefit for our website SEO? Are there some design elements or principles that we need to
Okay.
look at? Yeah.
So I'm not a UI designer. First of all, there might be some technicalities that person that is UI designer, UI UX designer might be able to say in their terminologies. But of course, there are some things I've observed over time and things that helps users, just basically have a seamless experience on your website. And one thing is your information architecture, like how information is organized on your website. That's like the first important thing. If you get to the homepage of a website, you expect somehow to see maybe there are services on that navigation menu. You expect to see some things on navigation menu. Maybe there are services and that broken down. Maybe when you hover on it, when you click it, you see more of their services outlined that way. Or maybe you see their products again, you see about us, or maybe you see blog. You get different things you see on that navigation. That's like one way that UI designers or like your website should typically look like. So people get there, they can see your services at a glance, they can see about you, they can see blog or some other news, or maybe career page, depending on what what the brand is about. So that navigation itself is key to the experience of a visitor. If that's not there, or maybe under about us you're having something else, or under products you're having something else, that basically just brings the confusion we just said, and makes the experience just really murky for the user. So that itself is key. Then there's also something I've noticed with mobile users or mobile interface. There are some websites that when you switch to mobile, the buttons get like maybe smaller, they are tinier. So like for your thumb or for your finger, when you're trying to tap something, it's just too tiny, and that makes it well when they're like maybe two CTAs beside each other. So you want to tap one, but eventually you get to tap another. That's just another thing. So I think when front-end developers like design, they should not just develop for the web version only. They should also check how it looks like for mobile version. Say someone accesses it through their iPhone or their Android, how does it look for them? If you have a video that looks great on web, it's positioned here, is great. But check that video also on mobile. There are websites I've seen that way. That when I switch to mobile, that video now cuts into half, or it's just squeezed in one corner. So when someone now goes on mobile, the person will now be trying to scroll. It's just really bad that way. So I think one of design elements, as you asked, is for front end designers to look at how their interfaces look both on web and for mobile, and they should actually own more on mobile, because of course most people nowadays, they visit our businesses, our brands, our website through mobile. So that's key. Your navigation has to be key. Then your buttons, how it looks like, has to be key. Then also, there's one thing. Like, this is maybe a bit more technical about CLS. This is just talking about core web vitals a little bit. There are websites that when you load them, maybe you're just loading them. You're on the website. You're trying to tap something, then that place you're tapping moves, basically, like it just moves. Maybe another thing loads, and that place you're tapping maybe moves down or moves up. You get That's called CLS, cumulative layout shifts. That layout moved, and that person might end up maybe clicking something else, or if everything is just really shaky, then we're like, okay, what are they even doing there? Maybe you have so many ads on your website, basically. So that's something that when you have on your website, you should have designated like width and height for spaces. So say you're running ads on your site, you're signed up to AdSense, right? Like you have a place that is already at, and that already has its own width and height for ads. So when your pages load, your page has already taken into cognizance that space already. So everything loads without much shifting. So those are like some things like that can go, that can go into design of the site. So I think, yeah, that's basically, I would say front end, or just looking at the website at a glance, are like key things. Your navigation is key, and how people interact with your website. That's why I mentioned buttons and how they shift and everything. So yeah, your navigation, your information architecture, and your interaction. Yeah.
Right. That's super great tips right there, Felix. Thank you so much for sharing that. So you've talked about you know the mobile compatibility of the UX for any website is very key. So yeah, as we all know, we know that most of the when you are web designer or web developer, they develop their anything they have to design from desktop, from widescreen. So they forgot to actually optimize for mobile. So and as you have, yeah, it's really happening a lot. Even sometimes you forgot totally. So until you
Yeah.
deliver the project, the client will now be calling attention that, oh, this is not
Looks
looking
really
right on the
bad.
mobile, and you'll be like, oh, that's true. I need to optimize for mobile as well. So that's really key. Thank you so much for sharing that, Felix. So Felix, quickly, mobile compatibility. So
Mm.
is there some approach or some tools that will help us to determine the compatibility of our UX, you know
Mm.
as related to SEO?
Mm. Okay.
Do you
Okay.
get
Yeah.
that?
Okay. Like tools to check mobile compatibility. Is that what?
Yes, that could,
Okay.
yeah, that
Okay.
could help inside. Yes.
Okay, yeah, okay. So there are different tools, right? But like the ones I use consistently, basically while working on SEO day to day. So there's a mobile friendly test. by Google, mobile friendly test. That's basically what it means by Google. So from there, you can just put in your URL and basically shows you if your website is mobile friendly. Basically, like it tells you what that it is. So from there, you see, okay, say it's not mobile friendly, you can see why it is not. Maybe it tells you, okay, this button is somewhere, or maybe there's a schema that is not right or something like that. You even see, like, you see a screen when you go to like see live URL or something, or see screenshots there, because another part by your right hand side on their site. So you basically see how even your site looks like. So from there you see, okay, this is what users see, or this is what even Google sees when it crawls my website. Okay, what do I need to move here and there? And you, from that result, like just using that tool, you know what you do, I mean to do or something. So that's like number one, or pretty much. Then there's also another thing I do. You don't need a tool. Basically, you just load a website. Like, say I'm on laptop now, I just load my URL on it. Then I go to the Chrome Dev Tools. Say you're on Chrome, like there's the Dev Tools. I actually use Command Option C to access it. But you can also go to inspect elements. So you just right click on your site, you see the job, then you go to inspect your website. So from there, like your site basically is crazy. So you see other functions that are in the back end of your site. So from there, you can now toggle. There's this left side where you could toggle to see how, your site looks on different devices. So see on mobile, on different phones. There are different phones there, Samsung, iPhone. You see how it looks on each, and see how, okay, what can you move, or maybe, I mean, shift differently on this device. You can even see for iPad how it looks like. So you're not just fixated on web alone. So you see how that looks like there, and you can even tweak some things there. I mean, that Chrome DevTools even gives more things to tweak on the go. So like from there, I mean, there are changes you make, they're not permanent, so don't worry about maybe breaking your site or something. So from there, you can even change colors. They're like just walking through the CSS, because there's the CSS block also when you check that dev tools. So from there, you can maybe you change a color, see how a color will look like, or maybe add a copy there, or maybe change an heading, maybe from H2 to H3, whatever. See how it looks like, and those changes, if they look good on you, then you can now go to the live environment, maybe tell your dev to fix it. So that in itself helps you to even interact more, to if you make changes, how it looks like on mobile, and if you make some changes, how that also looks like. So that's like two key tools I use, mobile friendly test tool by Google, then Chrome DevTools itself. Then also one thing that, well, not really a mobile usability tool, but I also use Lighthouse audit, the page speed audit, yeah, that you do, right? Like I also use Lighthouse audit. So from there, when you run your site on Lighthouse, the screenshot it shows you, it's going to be a mobile version. Yeah, that's the screenshot it shows you. So from there, you can see, okay, how your pages load, like from like what do they call it? From frame to frame. You see how your pages load from frame to frame. So that, in fact, that way you can even, okay, maybe this hero image I have on my website is too heavy. Maybe let me reduce it, or change it, or optimize it. So those tools don't only show you how your site look like, they also give you opportunities to, okay, if you do this, or you could save more time through this. So yeah, those three tools I would say really help me to just have like an idea of what to do. Yeah.
Right, right. So the first two you mentioned is actually the Chrome tools or what?
Mobile friendly test tool by
Mo-
Google. That's a
okay.
Google tool.
Mhm.
Mobile friendly test. Then second one is Chrome Dev Tools. Like that's just inside Chrome. It's not like a tool. You just need to access it. Just as I said, if you're on Mac, it's a Command Option C that used to access it, or you can
Right,
just right click and go to inspect site, or inspect elements. Yeah, you see the box open.
right. Thank you very much for such an expertise advice. And so, Felix, I think pretty much we've spoken on design. So I just want to ask one more question based on navigation. You know, most of the website when you get to them, you see that their navigation is sticky. Most of the website, their navigation is once you scroll down, you don't it's not sticky. You don't see the navigation again. So, what is the best advice? What is the best practice? That our audience could actually execute to ensure that their website is ranking higher on Google.
Okay, so if I'm going to be maybe a little bit subjective here,
Mhm.
I like when your website is sticky, right? Like when I scroll up or scroll down, I can still at least see the navigation on top. So from there, maybe I can click, like maybe click home, click back to home, or click back somewhere. Like that makes it easier for me than having to scroll back up then to find that navigation. So I would say, yeah, for better UI experience, that's unless one thing you can use to combat that is to have like this arrow button. Now we are talking about just web version now. Let me talk about web version now. So say you
Mhm.
don't have that sticky version. When you scroll up, everything disappears. Then you should have this arrow button by your, it could be by your right or left, depending. That tells people go back up or something. I don't know if you've seen the arrow like that will tell you go up
Right.
or go to the top or something. So that should be there. So it helps to just not let people scroll too much. So if you don't have that sticky navigation, then have that arrow that lets people to go up as fast as possible. And if that is not there, then just have that. Then it shouldn't be that your navigation should, because there are some sticky navigation that okay fine, and they have navigation, but the navigation now takes a chunk of the page. Maybe it takes like
Right.
20% of the view. That's now too bad because you don't have to now be viewing just the remaining part to read what you want to. That shouldn't be. So even if you're having a stick now, we should just not take more than maybe 5%. Just showing just that alone. So someone doesn't even notice until maybe they want to click there. So that's something. And for mobile, I think it's also pretty much the same. The same advice I would give. It shouldn't be too to like like your navigation shouldn't block the view much like that. So it could just be something like
Mhm.
maybe 5% view up there and let the user scroll how they want to scroll, read, and if they want to go back. Though, well, for mobile, I don't really think it should be a problem because we scroll a lot. We do Instagram, Twitter. We are used to scrolling anyway. So even if you want to scroll up and down, it shouldn't be there. But at least just to aid the user experience, I would say I prefer sticky navigation. So
Right.
that's it.
Great. Great. Felix. So there are some websites that they have a lot of navigation. I mean, there's a lot of maps on the on the header part of the website. So, is there some recommendation of how many nav menus should we have on the website? Is there some standard or something?
Okay. So okay, there is no standard I know of, but this is a relative, right? Like that depends on how large the site is. Like okay, for example, so you're talking about Investopedia now. They have a lot of things going on there. That's different from a website that is just a one local business and stuff like that. So that really depends on the size of the website. But I would advise that whatever you put on top should be your core pages, right? Like what you want like your users should notice first about you or know about you. So that shouldn't be, I mean, from what I've seen, um I would say that shouldn't be more than 5 at most there. Do I
Mm.
understand? You can have, and the thing is that why I say it shouldn't be more than 5 at most, because you can even have some navigation that you still separate into other pages. So it doesn't mean that they're like single pages. There's some pages that when you over them, depending on how your UI is, you can also see how it's broken down into other places. So you see other ones, maybe you over one, you see like maybe 3 other sections or 4 other sections there. So that's fine, depending on how big your sites. But I'll say it shouldn't be more than 5, because when it's becoming really more, everything just looks like too much. I mean, you can put other things in your footer that are not so important. Let them, I mean, you can do a lot in your footer. We know that you can put 10, 20 links, that's totally fine. But yeah, for your header to keep it as clean as possible, it shouldn't be more than 5, really. Yeah, that's even
Right,
max. Yeah. Yeah.
right. Excellent. So, we've actually, uh, speak a lot about the design and navigation. Let's look at speed, Felix. So what's your approach towards the UX as regards speed? How does the US impact the speed of any websites?
Okay. Uh, so from what I've said, I think I've mentioned a little bit of how speed impact, but I'm going to delve more on that. So there's this thing about core web vitals, we call it in SEO. Let me see that is a big deal, but generally, well, don't just obsess about core web vitals basically. But else, let me just break down a little bit. So there's what is called interaction to next print. I mean, it's first called first input delay, yes, but we both know Google is retiring that by next year. So they are doing interaction to next print. So basically, how fast does the website react when someone interacts something, taps something, whatever? How fast it is to load the next thing in line? So yeah, maybe you're loading a new page or loading, it could be a box, whatever. But like how fast it is for it to start painting the next thing. So that's that. Then CLS, like cumulative layout shifts. I mean, from what I mentioned earlier, how stable your page is, a visual stability basically. How stable is your page? Maybe when, like when it's say your page is loading, say for example someone loads your pages, then you have to wait for like 5 seconds for this to move to this or this to move here, and you're even just looking at what select is just balance before I interact. So that's like native layer shift. Yeah, so that's basically it. Then there's also one that skips my mind. Okay, yeah, then there's LCP. So yeah, that's the largest contentful paint. That's still pretty much important. So these three things basically are like, let me say, the core of core web vitals. Let me put it that way. So for example, going from the largest contentful pin, that's basically like the largest thing on your page. I mean, or the largest, I mean the stuff of largest size. I want to say it as layman as possible. You get the so this could be like an image on your site, or say a video on your site, or even text. Text can even be that heavy, or maybe it's a button, whatever. That is just the largest paint on your site. So that's something that can affect your page speed. So when someone is loading a page and takes long for that first image to paint, and that's something you can look into. So you see this through page speed insights, right, or through Lighthouse, right? That shows you, okay. Say for example, you're having some issue with your largest contentful page, so it tells you, okay, this is the largest contentful, this is the largest thing on your site. Now you're going to maybe improve it, maybe okay. So let's say it's an image, right? So you can convert it from PNG to WebP, and I think it always says that WebP format is still a better format. You retain the quality but lesser size. So that's something you can look into, like reducing the size. And also mentions now this, maybe there are some unused JS or unused CSS on your website. Now this happens mostly, maybe for example, when say your site loads, right? But there are
Mhm.
some JS that are not used. But why I'm always careful with that part is that because they are not used while loading your own page, does not mean maybe they won't be used if you want to load another thing. They could just be there. They are not used
Mm.
for your own page right now. But maybe when you're
Right.
interacting with something else on that home page, that's when they will be useful. So if you just go into Chrome Dev Tools and be like, because you can see that in the coverage tab, and you say, oh, these ones are red, I'm not using them, let my dev clear everything. No, you might that's when they clear everything now and it's all green, you might not have that interactivity. Yeah, so it's always there. If you clear
Right.
everything in SEO like red, that just be let me clear the
Right.
red. That can be terrible. So yeah, so that's
Right.
something like class or page speed tells you, to check your pages and all that, then reduce your unused CSS and JS. Then one thing again that can affect how your pages load, if your pages are JS rendered, like they
Mhm.
are full JavaScript rendered, they are client side rendered, basically. So for
Mhm.
example, they are not on server side. So it's when you load pages basically from the visitor's browser, then that's bad for SEO really, because they're not. I mean, when someone loads your site, they're not calling your content straight from the server. You get that depends on, maybe for example, how fast their internet is or whatever. Like, I mean, this commonly happens with React. uh say I said that on React JS, if you're using React framework. So that basically happens on that when it has to load internally on the user's browser. That basically keeps it slow. So you can check this when you turn off JavaScript on the website. There are some sites that once you turn off JavaScript, nothing will load. You won't even see everything will be blank. That in itself, it's a problem to us. We know as devs, right? as front
Hmm.
end dev. You want the website to be as to be, the appearance should be fine. You should click
Mhm.
this one should be shiny. We know all those things are beautiful. People like that. But we SEOs, we don't so much fancy because sometimes it affects speed, right? But before
Hmm.
that goes, maybe about 2 seconds has passed or 5 seconds has passed. That is impacting your experience at the end of the day. So there should just be like a balance. So yeah, so that's me talking about LCP. That's something that that affects like your page speed, big deal. Then JS and CSS and stuff like that. Then yeah, the next one that so it was the next, that's CLS. That's the next
Yes.
one. Sounds mix up. Yeah, so CLS, some as I also mentioned, that's talking about your layout shift
Basic
basically.
layouts.
So what you can use to tackle that is to have like preset formats on your website. So for example, when your page is loading, you have like a set width and height for say particular. If there are some sites that maybe their ads are like on top, um just below the navigation. They are just below the navigation. They or some are by the left side, maybe like rectangular format. So all those things you can have preset format for them. Okay, that width maybe like 50 centimeters or whatever, 20 centimeters by 50 centimeters. Have that preset. So when your website is loading, when your website is loading, when the DOM is loading, right, it already just takes into cognizance that site. So even if there's no image loading there yet, or there's no ad loading there yet, it already creates that space for that. So while you're loading yourself, when an ad now comes up, the ad just gets there. It doesn't have to move you around
Hmm.
to fit there. It's already place already created there. It will just enter there, bam, like that. So it helps to have like preset width and height. So that's something you can use to combat this moving around on your website and stuff like that. Then also, as I also mentioned, being taking cognizance of how your website looks both on mobile, not just on web. Look at how it looks on mobile. So you know how to like fix the buttons or maybe lists how you are listing some things, videos, stuff like that. That also helps. Then pretty much what was that last one? That's first input delay or interaction to next page. So that's basically this would like how fast your website react. So this is not easily noticeable. You might not always noticeable. Like when you tap a button, like that button like maybe goes something somewhere else. It only gets noticeable if your website is like maybe so bad at that. So maybe when you click a button, then it doesn't react to your hand, or like you have to tap it or like press, then that's really bad. But I don't think anyone really, or maybe most people really face that. And maybe you tap something and it takes like 1 2 seconds before that thing now start loading. So
Hmm.
that's like ahead. So it's not really much of a problem, but that could be sorted, I think, from the server, and or sometimes even like how fast your mobile network is or your network you're on is. At the time maybe you tap something, you have to tap again for it to start seeing it's loading on that Chrome screen or whatever your browser is. So basically, these are like three three indicators or three things we check as SEO basically to see, okay, what can we improve on this side? What can we improve? And it doesn't mean that we have to clear all reds, as I said, but at least that's kind of optimization. What can we quick wins here and there just to give your website that faster speed? Yeah.
Great. Excellent, Felix. Thank you so much for you know those tips. So pretty much on speed as well, Felix.
Okay.
Um, you know, when sometime you spoke about the tools that people usually use for um to check their website speed, basically to check for all thing core fighter. And the tool I usually use, is GT metrics.
The matrix.
GT
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
that's
Right. And I noticed that whenever I use that, I use the tool, and most of the time I usually have problem with images on my website. All right.
images.
Yes. So I want you to speak to that. What is the connection between the images on your website? I mean, how FR should your images should be? What are the benchmarks for us to have a
Mm,
good user experience? Yes.
okay, images. Yeah, images. Images we all know. See, the thing is that well, to be funny a bit, if you don't want your site, if you want your site to load fast, remove all the images. just remove the images, let everything be just loaded like that.
Okay.
Now, but as far as you have images on your website, right?
Right.
You still experience some slowness. But that also doesn't mean that is actually really slow. I mean, that is, for example, now why I said that we shouldn't be so obsessed with all those figures. Why I get Google say I think maybe the LCP should be below, is it 4 seconds now or something? Sometimes you might see 4.2 seconds or 4.3 seconds. Or that doesn't mean that you are doing well. Okay, it just should be less than 4 seconds. That 4.2 seconds does not mean you are really doing terrible. In fact, even you, if you load your website, you won't even really notice that anything is slow. So this thing can be
Yeah, right.
subjective at times. It depends on maybe how fast the person network. That's why, okay, say you are using page speed insight or lighthouse audits. There's this like two data you can check. There's the crux, that's the Chrome user experience data or reports. That's there. Then there's also a field data. So there are like two reports on page speed that shows you okay what real life users are experiencing, how they are experiencing your page. I think that's meant to be the crux or something, or the field data. Then there's one that is by Google itself, how it experiences your page. So there are times that, and that crux data can just be subjective because people accessing your site maybe might be accessing it from a very slow network at that point, or maybe
Hmm.
the dimension of their screen and
Screen.
some that they're using. So there are different factors that might affect how a page even loads at that particular point. Maybe that's when MTN is doing rubbish at that point, and your website is just really slow. You will now see
Right.
that your page has 4.4, and you'll be like, ah, yeah, that's really. In fact, you might even rerun it and maybe see 4.5 or 4.3. So that's why sometimes if you're just at least really, really close to the benchmark, then you're really good. Like you shouldn't really upset that okay, it's until it's 3 seconds or 3.1. That's why I'm really doing good. So that's just one thing I want to like take out of the way on that around like that subjectivity around what we see and what we don't see. Then also something about optimizing images. I mean, fine, there are ways around it. Like from what I said, you can just change the format of your images. I mean, I see some website. I did an audit for your website recently, and I had to tell. I was seeing images as high as 4 MB on your home
Hmm.
page, like 4 megabytes. This is
Hmm.
just too
Too
much.
much.
Like I was saying, no, this is too much. At least that image can still be clear, and you can still get it for even less than
Mm-hmm.
1 MB,
Mm-hmm.
less
Mm-hmm.
than 1 MB, and you still have the same quality. So
Right.
yeah, but
Right.
of course they didn't know that. So that's something to look into. If you even check page speed inside, it will tell you can save this number of KB if you reduce it to this particular format. So that's just one thing. And maybe there are some things that if you don't need to really have many images on the page, you don't need to. For example, if there's a page and maybe just two images can speak to what that page is, just let it be two images. You don't need to add
Hmm.
yeah, per heading, you're adding one heading, one image, one heading. No, if the that UI can just be optimized to two images and that will still speak to what you do. Maybe you have a careers page or like an about us page, and you're putting so many pictures of the company and there and there. No, that's just you can have two group pictures of the company and to still speak to the company as being, what they are and everything. So these are like some little changes one can do to your images. Yeah.
Felix, this is kind of very, I will not say weird point of view, which is
Okay.
very, 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 very important that you've mentioned right there. Like, if you could, I mean, if it's possible that you not put any images on your website, you do so.
Yeah, yeah.
People might see it very weird, but I think it's a very valid point. The very, very, I mean, a very good point you've mentioned right there, especially on the home page. Which
Yeah.
which which I think home page determines everything as regard
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
pretty
as
much.
regard the yeah, of course. So for those people that are just joining us, so you are welcome. And as this is DMI show brought to you by DMI agency. So a show for marketers, professionals, and small business owners who want to harness the power of digital marketing, you know, to improve their return on investments. And here today we are discussing the US and SEO, the interplay of design, navigation, and speed. So quickly to round it up, Felix, I want you to speak on still on images on websites. I've
Okay.
seen some websites. This is the era whereby we are people have a short attention span. You know, want to do everything. Once you get your website and they are not satisfied, they are out of it. But you are mentioning that we should minimize using images on our website. That's your perspective. My perspective before was that you should try as much as possible to reduce
The size.
the size of your website, of your images that you're going to use. But now you are saying from your own expertise that there should be, less of images on websites. So how can we strike that balance? People are looking for something fast, something catchy, and you said we should not use a lot of images. So how can you strike that balance?
Okay.
How can I win on stage? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So to be frank, what I was mentioned is just on a light note, right? Like we
Right.
do. I mean, like remove all your image. Of course, you can't basically remove all your
Remove
image. So
anything,
that.
everything. Yeah.
But yeah, but I think as you said, from your perspective, one aspect to first, I mean, like try or first explore is to first optimize your images. At least
Mm-hmm.
try to optimize your images that you have. So like, what can be maybe like 200 KB should not be 2 MB. You get that? That's like those little changes. They go a lot. Like they do a lot for your website. So I think the
Yes.
first way you first check is to first, okay, let me optimize an image. Then as I said again, there could be some pages that you don't actually need so many pictures to depict what you're trying to depict. It's just
Mm-hmm.
about the experience. Remember, there's some pages that maybe
Mm-hmm.
just a video is enough. Maybe just a
Mm-hmm.
video. You have maybe and so you have a YouTube video that speaks about maybe your company or maybe an event, whatever, and just putting that video with some text. Oh, this is what we did. This is what we and just put that video, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like
Good.
that's
Yeah.
just embedding then putting, okay, now making that be like a catalog of pictures of like 10 pictures, 15 pictures of how the day went. No, when you could just put a video and that's pretty much it. So that's what I'm saying. Fine. You can optimize your images, but also look for like smarter ways to maybe, okay, cut down your images and see, maybe there are better ways to still speak that content to people and not necessarily slow down your website. Yeah, so it's just pretty. I mean, that depends on the digital marketer, the brand as, or the SEO specialist, the brand as. I believe that person within their expertise be able to know, okay, where can I strike a balance, or what should I do best for my client and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for shedding more light on that, Felix. So, Felix, last thing here that I want to ask because you are running out of time is
Okay.
some websites on the home page. What could you say to this? Comparing, when we are to take into we're now to factor in the fact that visitors now, users now, their attention is they are having a fast attention, and they are looking for most of the users. They want to see something. You can actually keep them on your website, by using something flashy, something that's going to catch their attention. And
Mm,
one of the factors that actually determines the how you perform on search is the dwell time of the users on your website. So
yeah.
I've seen some big brands, digital marketing brands or agency that in their homepage they don't in the first in the hero section, now they don't use
Mm,
any picture there. All they use is some design, some background color, and just text. So what
mm,
can you say to that to finish to I mean to round it up? People are looking for something flashy and all of that, but yet
mhm,
on the hero section of your website, you just have the text and the background overlay, just a background overlay
mm.
and text, and that's all. What could you say about that? What's your approach towards
Okay.
that?
Okay. So I think saying people are looking for something flashy, I think that's subjective in a way. People are looking for results, but they are looking for what they want as fast as possible. I think that's just it. Doesn't really matter. Okay, say I go to a website. I'm not really so concerned about maybe how beautiful the website, but I want to just get what I want as quickly
Mm,
as possible. I mean, I would say that's like top in the visitor's mind. Fine, of course, if your website is really beautifully designed, that's also good. That's the experience. But I think why those websites do that is because they want to answer your question as fast as possible. And that for me, I think is a great experience on its own. The website that I visit them, that their hero section, their the site above the fold is not really telling me anything about what they do, or maybe giving me a CTA to do something. I'm just seeing maybe we are this, or I'm just seeing like some text, some story. You're not telling me, okay, maybe book a demo or call this thing, or like let me know from that first page what you do very briefly and what you want me to do. So from the
Mm.
job, I mean, don't let me have to maybe scroll so much, read your services, why you are so good, why you are this one, then I give put the CTA at the footer. No, from that first, let me be able to know, okay, this is what you want me to do. Maybe if there's two CTAs, be clear. If there's only one that's key to your business, be clear there. So if you're looking for a call, okay, I mean, call now or schedule a meeting or you something like that that is key to your business, it should be on that area section. I mean on that area section. So I think I'm with those brands that are that focused. They know, okay, when you get to the home page, you're basically looking for something. And let us tell you this is how it is. I mean, do this straight up. So you're not looking like maybe one fancy image or something like that. If that
Right.
fancy image is there and the user and that fancy image is making that page slow, that user will still bounce back because of course is there, but all those pages now they are not just done easily. There's JS that is in background and stuff like that. So I think fine. I mean, let's we are trying to still satisfy the user, but we know that the top thing on their mind is to have their answers. I mean, have their questions answered. So I
Answered.
think that's really key. Yeah.
Yeah, right, right. Because in the long run, when you check on the website, or when you check their core fighter, they have a great core
Ah,
fighter
okay.
score. When you check those, I mean, website is,
To just add, yeah. To just add. Sorry for
someone is
interrupting.
saying that Felix comment is fallen pro mass.
Is what
They say your comment is fallen pro max as regard
okay, violent.
images.
Okay, okay. So to just add one more thing, right? See Google for instance, google.com. Google is popular. Google. If you type google.com on Chrome, what do you see? You just see a search box, right? Where you can
Hmm.
type anything you want. There's no fancy thing on
Mm,
Google, and that's
right,
Google's home page.
right.
That's Google's home page. There's no fancy thing that maybe call, but it works, right? It works for you.
Mm-hmm,
You don't search
mm-hmm,
for something and you find something else. And that's how it's. In fact, it's so good that even people don't even notice that that's Google's home page because it's
mm,
simple. It works for what you want, and that's really how it should be. It's not really about how beautiful your site. So that's great, but really, people should just have what they want as fast as possible. Yeah.
right. Great. Thank you, Felix. So, if you are watching us right now and you have any question, please quickly drop it. I could see some people interacting with us on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook. So thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Idris. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me give some shout outs, some shout outs. So Mr. Uge Gideon. So yeah, Uge Gideon said, "I'm so glad to be here." Yeah, thank you so much. We are also uh, glad to have you here. So if you have some questions, so quickly please drop it on the on the comment box for Mr. Felix as we'll be rounding up shortly. So we are already using up to an hour. It's supposed to be just 30 minutes. So, and if you are joining us for the first time, please follow us on YouTube, DMI Digital Marketing Agency, to follow up on our show. Also follow us on LinkedIn as well as Facebook. And quickly, as I'm on the lookout for question, Mr. Felix. So could you give us, a round, feel
Okay.
your final thoughts as regards user, US and SEO? What should we
Okay.
expect in the future? Yeah, something like that.
Okay, yeah. So one thing I also want us to know is that like search queries differ, right? Like
Mm,
how like visitors experience, the result that comes to them differ. So for
mhm,
example, there are some results like users might type in search and they already found the answer right on Google. I mean, we see that maybe you are searching for what time is this show in Genesis Cinema, for instance, or you're checking for maybe Genesis Cinema movies, you can see that right on Google, like it listed it already for you. I mean, it's listed for you already, so there's no need to click into the, the search or something. Or maybe you're searching that maybe what time is this in this location, or maybe maybe 10 best something, whatever. You're already seeing the answers in those featured snippets, or
Yeah,
Google Box or something. So there are actually some queries that don't even need the user to click into the website, basically. So that's also one thing. So when we are optimizing even for user experience, we shouldn't only optimize maybe just our UI, our UX. Let's also optimize even for the search engine result pages, for those featured snippets, for those frequently asked questions. But I
mhm.
think Google has something against FAQ like recently. But let's optimize for those featured snippets. I know, okay, let's wonder, okay, the experience does not start only when they enter our website, even before they enter our website. If they see a
Mm.
featured snippet and that's really good, that's us showing up for them already before them clicking. So from there, they can now
Onto
choose
the
to click
websites.
if that
Right.
feature does not do well. So that's also, let's not see UX as only when they enter the website. Even before they enter, you're already giving them that good experience. And this, of course, goes with how your headings are, like, your meta titles of your page. How do they speak to the keyword you're trying to target on that page? Basically, those are like some things to look into. If you're searching for how to like swim, you're already attacking that in your heading, your title, your, I mean, your listing, your H2, you're already speaking to that basically. Steps to swim, what to know, stuff like that. Basically, that just helps in just being intentional about how we present content and how we want to help uh the traffic that eventually comes to us. And of course, if we do the traffic well, they can do anything we want them to do. Sign up here, sign up for our email, or maybe do this one. They will definitely do it because they have great experiences. Yeah.
That is an uncommon insight about UX. I mean, it is not until they actually get to your website, even right there from before. Wow, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. So, shout out to Sulaiman Abdurrahman. Thank you for joining us. We are also glad to have you here. So, Mr. Felix, we have a question here from Idris. So, to round it up, because we are, this is already 7 o'clock. I mean, 8 o'clock. So, Mr. Felix, the question here from Mr. Idris is that can you share your three well? Can you share your three well-designed sites that perfectly combine SEO and UX? Do you get that?
Yeah, three sites that combines UX and SEO. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, that
Right?
perfectly combine UX and SEO. Yes.
SEO. Okay. One site that comes to mind is Jumia.com. We know Jumia.com.ng that
Mm-hmm.
we buy stuff from here. When you go to the homepage of Jumia, right? Fine, they
Mm.
have, in fact, they have millions of products, like so many products there, but it looks so organized. You can, from their own page, you can just say you visit on web, you can just over navigation. You see maybe home, what concerns home electronics. This, so like it's all organized there. So if you are going for something, this is where I'm clicking. And for each page, they have their page title where written, they have their page description where written, their canonicals are set. So when you go there, and that's like really a good website to look at. Then of course I will mention CarryWise. I'm not saying that because I'm currently in CarryWise, but of course I'm the SEO of Carry, I'm really doing a great job there. So I'll say, yeah, if you check our front page, we have a really good UX, clean front page. There's nothing too busy, and you check every page. The metadata is well written. The title, the meta description, the canonicals, everything is set as it should be. Basically, you get what you want from there. So those two are like what's first popping to mind. I visit finance websites really often. I would say Investopedia. I think I mentioned that also earlier. Investopedia too. They have millions of pages too, but I'm just all again at how they also have their pages organized. So from there you can see maybe like some fresh news of the day overing. You can see other pages. Their glossary is there where we have the 10 financial terms. You can see different sections there, even though they have a lot of content there. So that shows, fine, they have a lot of content, but they also like took time to ensure each page is well optimized. And that's, yeah, those are like three key websites I will mention. Okay, you're on mute, Abib.
So, Felix recommendation for sites with great, well structured, design combined with experience is Jumia, then Carwise and Investopedia. So those three sites, if you are a web developer or web designer, you could actually check them out to see. So to learn from them to know how to deliver a better project for your clients. So Jumia, Carwise, and Investopedia. Those are the recommendations from Felix. So we are rounding up already. If you have more question, please drop it on the comment section. And if you are watching this as a replay and you have any question, please drop it on the comment section and we'll do justice to that. So, Mr. Felix, could you tell us where people could follow what you do, your work, or learn more about SEO?
Okay, yeah. So I'm on LinkedIn. Just type Felix Akinibi, the name you're seeing there. You see me on LinkedIn, SEO specialist and consultant. That's me. Yeah. Then I'm also on Twitter as Felix AK underscore. Felix AK underscore. Yeah. I'm mostly active on those two. So yeah, connect
Okay,
with me.
right. Thank you very much. Please connect with Felix on LinkedIn as well as Twitter. So, and we'll be rounding up now. So, this is DMI Show. If you're just joining us, a show for brought to you by a digital marketing agency. So, a show for marketers, small business owners, and if you are just learning out, this is also a show for you. You could actually so grabs a lot of knowledge from this show. So, and also follow us on social media on LinkedIn, on Twitter, Instagram, as well as YouTube. So that's all for today. We'll be rounding up for this. And thank you so much for joining us all. We really appreciate your time here. So join us on Monday. Join us on Monday. Yes, our show will be on Monday. Because our next show will be on Monday instead of Saturday as usual. But the next one will be on Saturday because our uh guests is kind of have a tight schedule, so you will not be able to join us on Saturday. It will be on Monday. So please join us here. We'll be unveiling the next episode to you on LinkedIn. And thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Felix. We really appreciate your time being here today. Thank you very much for
Welcome.
such an insightful session. Yeah, bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.